There it is. We're live and direct.
Huh.
Hello. Straight from the swamps, like we say, of southern Louisiana. We are
absolutely. What up?
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Can't wait.
Justin, I wanted you to kind of, you piqued my interest with Daniel Penny early, because I haven't heard any news about Daniel Penny lately.
Yeah?
No.
I saw, and I didn't fully read the article, but I did see today that he was acquitted. The jury found him not guilty. Maybe yesterday.
How did you see that? It was like December when he was found.
Was it?
Yeah.
Damn. So, what the fuck?
Yeah, what popped up on your end?
It was like I don't know, just something on feed saying,
yeah, because
Daniel Penny.
Yeah, because he was found not guilty back in December.
Yeah.
Really?
9th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I thought there was some new news or shit that broke. I was like,
I mean, it's new to me.
That's all that matters. It was news.
That's all that matters.
Well, have you heard about the moon landing yet?
Right.
No.
Babe Ruth,
that
you
to
know,
me.
Babe.
Yeah, you know Babe Ruth. You know who that is?
I do remember Babe being white. Yeah, we went over that.
No,
But no, I didn't know that they found him not guilty out there.
Yeah. Well, you probably didn't know much about it because for some reason they decided not to tear up the cities once that verdict came back.
Yeah,
So
I saw that it happened, and then so he must have been like acquitted right after. Like
what?
right after he fucking did his shit.
Oh no, it hung on. I mean, but when he choked that guy out in that subway, it had to have been a year.
A year.
Least.
Was it a year? I feel like we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Jesus.
No, man, they
motherfucker.
Let's see. I was trying to see because I had the article pulled up, but I'm trying to see when that shit went down. CBS reported in Anchor.
23, dude.
Was it 23?
That's what it says. Yeah. Homeless man on a subway in 23.
Which, so that was about a year because in the end of 2024, he was found not guilty or whatever. So,
yeah.
Damn. I can't believe it's been that long since that shit went down.
Crazy, yeah. Yeah. I wonder what he's up to now.
Probably.
I don't know.
Because you don't hear nothing about him. You know?
No.
That's the same, that one that was acquitted with the Michael Brown thing, whatever that cop's name was.
Yeah.
He done disappeared, and I mean, I guess that's all you can do is try to move away and start over when your face has been just all over the fucking world for a year or two,
Unless you're Rittenhouse.
Yeah, Rittenhouse, but I bet he still catches shit. Like if he's in certain areas,
Probably.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll die off eventually. Which I say that maybe not because he's a public figure now. Like he's purposely out there, doing the podcast and just all over social media. But had he just disappeared for a little while, most people couldn't pick him out.
Forget about
crowd.
him.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Everybody jumps on the thing that whatever that moment is right now. And then it's all, Rittenhouse. And if he'd have disappeared for a couple of years, they wouldn't know who the hell this dude was.
I don't understand that at all. Like how people see celebrities in public. Like I wouldn't recognize Rihanna if she was fucking serving me at the McDonald's window. Like I don't recognize these people. You'll see pictures on like TMZ, so-and-so spotted at the beach. And I'm like, who? What? Where?
Yeah. I know. Or they'll, like you said, they'll see him in a gas station somewhere. And I mean, I guess if it's like if I saw The Rock somewhere, he's hard to miss.
Yeah.
But there's a few of them I'm thinking I would not be able to point this person out in a lineup.
No. Like if I saw like Channing Tatum out in public, I'd never know it was
be
him.
another white guy walking.
Brad Pitt or something, dude. Yeah. Shaq, you would know who that is.
I don't think you can miss him. Yeah, he was in a local Taco Bell a few years back over here. And people I know ran into him. And I mean, just looking at the pictures of these people standing by him while he's sitting, it was like, good God.
Isn't it incredible?
He's like 6 foot tall sitting down. It's like, damn. It was.
They say he's a wholesome guy, man. He really is a good guy.
Yeah, he does a lot of good things for people. Yeah, he does. And surprisingly, like he doesn't pick by race. Like I'm just going to go take care of, minorities or whatever, I'm sure he does a lot of that as he should, but he doesn't discriminate, and he's been discriminated against. Like when he was at LSU, man, there was a lot of racism thrown at him. I mean, he'll say it. Just with the whole monkey thing and gorilla and just the typical shit. And so I mean, for him not to hold any kind of grudge, against an entire race like a lot of people tend to do. It's pretty big, pretty good of him.
Was Shaq any good, or was he overrated?
Was Shaq any good?
No, he sucked, dude.
He couldn't shoot free throws, right?
He couldn't shoot.
Was that really a thing, or is that a joke?
No, he couldn't, but he didn't have to. He was dominant. I mean, the biggest, just athletic. You know, he wasn't just big and tall. He was athletic, which made him, you know, he stood apart because a lot of them tall guys, they weren't really athletic, really. You know, they were just tall, so they were a big figure that you had to get around or they could rebound or whatever, but they weren't super athletic. Well, Shaq could dribble the ball down court from one end to another running.
Right.
You know what I mean? And most big guys can't do that. I mean, you 7 foot tall, you're not supposed to handle the ball like that. So he was just a
He's got
phenom,
6 feet
you know?
to bounce the ball before it gets back to his hand.
Yeah, no, Shaq could handle it, man. So I got to give it to him. That's why he was so dominant. And that's why, you know, if him and Kobe would have stayed together longer and actually been able to get along, you know, I think those egos clashed a lot.
They were on the same team?
Yes, they were on the same team.
Damn. I didn't know they played at the same time. I thought Shaq played like fucking 30 years ago.
Nah, they were on the Lakers together for years, man.
Yep.
Yeah, was this recent?
No. I mean, everything seems recent because time goes by so fast. But Shaq's been retired for years now because he's been on that NBA show for a while.
I feel like Shaq hasn't played basketball as long as I've been alive.
No, it ain't been that long, but it's been a while. I'd be lying.
It could be close to 7-10 years, probably.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. It's been a minute.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's been a decade for sure, man. You know, maybe longer. I don't know, but I can say a decade.
Yeah, that Daniel Penny shit that went down in New York.
Yeah,
right?
On that subway.
So he got acquitted. Do you think they're gonna acquit that New York official that had beef with the Uber driver?
Not after watching that video, dude.
You saw the video?
Man, I mean, at least the video, the clip of it I saw of him running out of his house, basically, and still firing shots. I mean.
Like, for 45 seconds while the
crazy,
driver's turning around. And
has he spoke out? Like, what is he defending that?
I haven't heard anything from him. I heard that it happened, and then probably like 2 weeks, I guess it's been, and then I saw the video. It finally popped up. Did you see it, Brad?
No.
I'm wondering how you defend that. Like, what?
You don't. There's no way.
I want to see what his lawyer's saying or whoever.
I'd like to hear the defense. Yeah, I'm with you because let's
pull it up.
Because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't even start shooting until dude got in the car.
That's when he started?
If I'm remembering the video correctly, yeah.
That's video shows shooting that kill. Oh, this is a different one. Boy, Uber drivers got it rough, huh?
Damn.
Oh, dude, that's tough biz, dude. That's why you got to tip more, dude, for them.
My God, I didn't even mean to pull that one up. Uber driver killed. No video. Uber driver. Was it Uber?
Maybe it was Lyft.
Because it's not pulling anything.
I know it
up.
was a New York State official, right?
All right, let's look it up.
I don't think they've said it's like his title, but I just see New York State official.
I mean, it's got to pull something up when I type in that. There it is, on camera. All right.
Maybe it was Uber Eats, huh? DoorDash?
All right, let's
DoorDash, dude.
Let's
That's what it was.
That's what it was. Okay, DoorDash. That's why I wasn't pulling anything up, but
right.
Because I was just thinking, I was like, why would Uber be at his house looking for directions?
Well, I thought it was Uber Eats. Look at him popping rounds just in that still video.
We just see you.
Well, that's all you need to see.
Hell yeah.
Right.
There it is. All right, let's see. So he's
strapped up.
What is this shit? Oh,
that's the Uber driver.
That's an ad. Hold on. Let me get through the ad and I'll pull it up. Yeah, what is he doing? He's shooting at the car.
Damn.
Stop to ask for the. See, now he's just shooting at the ground. So he's shooting at the ground.
No!
Bro's freaking out. He can't get the car and drive.
Well, so far he hadn't shot at him. He's going. Oh, no, he blew a horn at him. It's like, fuck you. Wow.
I think dude was just in the car, like, hitting shit. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, well, that second shot.
And.
Oh, yeah, one? No. He's got to go to jail, dude. He's got to go to jail.
Dude's still hitting the horn. I think
you can't function in society like that, man.
No, absolutely not, dude.
Nah, they got to lock his ass up, man. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And he's in New York. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Like,
hold on, let me turn that stupid shit on.
Damn.
Like, anyway, yeah, that's
even if it
nuts.
was like close to justified, like you are in New York, sir.
There was nothing justified about that, dude.
There wasn't, but God,
no,
it just amazed. Like, what goes through your mind? Because I didn't even know it was that bad. I remember hearing about the case, but I thought maybe it was just a misunderstanding that, you know, the guy looked like he was a threat or something, and so the dude shot at him. When you watch that video, I mean, I don't know what goes through your mind to walk out in your front yard and start popping rounds at a car leaving the property, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's going down for that shit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
this ain't back 100%. In the day where, you know, he brother-in-law type shit, because for one, it's fucking, it's all over the place. Nationwide news now with the internet, so he ain't getting off of this shit. I don't care what kind of city official he was.
What is
that? Is going down, and deservingly. That's crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. He's got to go. It's terrible for gun owners.
It really is, dude. Yeah.
And I see we had some new news, kind of newer news dropping on them kids that were shot, the Ding Dong Ditchers. I think you were telling me the other day.
Yeah, from what I understood, they I don't know, Brad, did you hear that story? The one where they were playing a little, you know, TikTok kind of game or whatever. They were running and knocking on people's doors and apparently running. Same shit we've all done as kids.
Yeah, right.
Well, one of them died. Dude came out of his house and put a fucking round in him.
Dude,
and now, of course, the original news story was that he just came out there and decided to shoot some kids that were playing a prank.
Right.
But then I see something come across the other day that they were actually like kicking or hitting on his back door or something, like they were breaking in.
Oh.
That makes that kind of changes the story on that.
That changes the whole tune, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to make sure, because man, you gotta watch, dude. I'm on X all day long, and the shit people post just to get some kind of reaction. You know, I try to fact check as much as I can of it, because I don't believe shit I read. But
did I hear something about like they were kind of like crouching or hiding in the bushes or some shit? Like,
well, that was the first thing I heard.
Okay.
You know, that they were in the bushes hiding after they had knocked or whatever, and then, you know, one of them got shot. But I'm trying to see if I can see the current story here. Imagine 3 a.m. and you're awakened by 3 teen boys trying to break into your house. You shoot, kill one. Now you are facing murder charges. Yeah, see, that's the official story now, is that they were basically, it sounded like they were breaking in, the way they were beating on his back door and shit on his back porch.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does that law play? Because I know we touched on one a while back with that one in Texas with, you know, the kid stabbing the other kid because he was touched, you know. So we kind of all came to the conclusion that that's not quite self-defense. Just because somebody touches you, you can't go stabbing them in the heart, you know. So at what point are you allowed to use deadly force when someone's doing that to your house and touching your door? I mean, what do you think it would take, you know, in the law's eyes? Do they have to actually be breaching the doorway?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I think so.
From the way I understand it.
Do.
Like I said, that door threshold is kind of usually used as the point of reference. Like if they've done enough to where your door frame is busted, you know, it's like, okay.
Yeah. You're done.
Then it's time to go.
Just because they beating on your door? Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. Like 3 a.m., you know, you wake up to somebody pounding on your door. Guess it doesn't give you the right to open fire.
Yeah, because I mean, if you do, and then the police show up, and it's your neighbor that her husband was just whooping her ass, and she was looking for safety.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, what about a guy that's beating on your door at 3 a.m.? He hadn't come through your door, but he's holding a butcher knife. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? But he's beating on your door. He hadn't come through your door, but he's got a butcher knife, and he's like, "I'm going to kill you." All right, well,
it almost.
I don't know. Where do you go with that? You know,
it almost makes me wonder. Would it depend? Like, say it's a single mom home. You know what I mean? A woman by herself. 2 young children in the house, and somebody's beating on her fucking back door at 3 a.m. Does she have all the right in the world to defend herself before this person gets in the house? No matter what their intentions are, would you think she would get off on something like that? As far as I mean, I would think she was justifiably, you know, fearing for her safety and her children.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. It's such a touchy subject, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard to. I think anytime you pull the trigger before the door's coming open,
yes,
you're done. You may not catch like a full murder charge, but you're definitely gonna catch a felony so that they can strip you of your gun rights.
Right.
You're at least gonna do some probation time and whatnot. Cause so I actually had a neighbor that they were having a party at their house, and he had an uncle that I guess it was like an uncle-in-law, like it was his aunt's husband, right? Well, aunt's husband had been uninvited permanently from the house, okay? So aunt's husband decides to go with the aunt to the cookout. So that turns into my friend and the uncle getting into a verbal argument, da-da-da. Well, at some point in the argument, the uncle, I'm going to kill you. So my friend was like, oh, okay. So he went inside and got his gun and came back out, and they started, kind of getting into it again, da-da-da. And the uncle still was going on, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. So he shot the uncle one time, and then it kind of let out into the street. And apparently as uncle's running away, like running down the street, he shot him like 6 or so more times, which I'm going to back up. I'm going to back up one more second, because I don't think he shot him in the yard. I think it went to the street first. And then he pulled the trigger, and then uncle starts running, and he continued shooting. So it was just boom, 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 right down the street. And
he wound up hitting family?
Him, I don't know, 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that case because I went to school with the dude that pulled the trigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of do remember that. Yeah, I don't think he wasn't justified in that shit at all, was he?
He got off with no jail time, no probation. He just had to plead guilty to a low-class felony and lost his gun rights.
How? Because like you
found
said,
it justified by uncle saying, "I'm going to kill you," and he had the means to do it, and they were face to face.
He had the means. Why?
Yeah,
he was armed.
I don't know what he was armed with, but
because like you said, didn't the dude go in his house, get a weapon, and came back out?
He did, and I think it also helped the fact that uncle had been, basically completely banned from the property.
From the
like,
house
do not
anyway?
come back here.
Because I was always under the impression that if you're able to get away, i.e., go in your house, you've escaped a threat. If the threat is still outside,
that's the way I would look at it.
So then to go back out and then claim this person was a threat doesn't sound like self-defense. What's up, F the Dolphins?
F the Dolphins, what up? Yeah, so I think he had a couple things going for him. One was that they were having an outside barbecue, right? So it was him and the other family were outside. Yeah, including his kids and yada yada, right? So apparently, mom and uncle and just they didn't get along with the uncle as a family, right? So as the man of the house, it's like I have to protect myself and my family.
Shout out to everybody watching. Here. Don't mean to cut you off. Just shouting out to everybody watching right now. But anyway, go ahead. He's not welcome over there.
So it's like he's not welcome here. And even if you retreat and go inside your house, your family's still out there with this guy. That's now stated that he's going to kill you, right?
Yeah.
So I think that helped this case. I don't think that would win every case.
No.
Well, didn't you have an across the street neighbor too?
That's the one.
That's the same person? Mm-hmm. Okay. I was going to say, damn, you had two of them in your life that then took a life and claimed self-defense. I didn't know that dude, the story you're talking about, I forgot he got off because when you listen to the case or to the evidence that you're putting forth, it just sounds like there was no way it could be self-defense once you go in your home to retrieve a weapon. Right. And come back out. I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird. But, hey, even for him to get away with that here, it was justified, because they're strict with that. They do let you defend yourself, but they don't just let you running around like a vigilante and, smoking whatever's in your fucking yard threatening you,
Right. And like I said, it was like self-defense enough that he didn't go to prison, but it wasn't self-defense enough that they still got him with a felony, so he can't own firearms anymore.
He was like, fuck it, I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah. And I actually know another dude that I was friends with for a little while, and kind of the same thing. He had a guy come over to his apartment, his gated apartment, to fight him. And he verbally told the dude time after time, don't come here. I don't want to fight you. Like, do not come here. And dude came with a friend, and my friend went outside, shot him in the chest, Dude died in the parking lot, and he called the cops, and he got off on self-defense. Same kind of thing. It was self-defense enough where he didn't go to prison, but it wasn't self-defense enough to where they charged him with a felony, and he doesn't have gun rights.
So this is what confuses me about all of this, because you can come out of your house to eliminate a threat, but if somebody's banging on your door at 3 a.m. in the morning, you can't shoot through the door. Now,
yes,
but
because in both of those instances of the people I know, the intent to do them harm was
there,
verbally stated.
I see.
They knew the intent of the other person.
Yeah, the
Whereas
person
somebody
beating
banging
on your
door, you don't know.
Yeah, like you said, it could be a neighbor in distress, and you go open and fire and take your neighbor out. Yeah,
it's true.
I get it. It just seems like, man, you put the wrong person in that position. Some people, they don't think straight like that. Like they really are in fear of their life at 3 a.m. You know, like I said earlier, if it's a single mother and she happens to be armed and you're beating on her fucking door, I mean, you're almost asking for it, but, you know, even though you're not, because you may really need help, you know, but to me, it's a chance you're taking at 3 a.m. in the morning.
And I mean, say there's cameras outside of the residence, and the person banging on the door is screaming, "I'm going to come in there and kill you," and you shoot through the door. That's different.
Yeah,
it's like, well, now you've stated your intent that if you come through that door, you're going to kill me, so you're not going to make it through that door.
Right. 100%.
Which I guess is a lot with that Texas case with them teens, you know, with the stabbing, is that the dude that died, he never did verbally or any other way, you know, let it be, you know, understood that, hey, I'm about to hurt you, you know, or I'm about to kill you. And that's why, like I said, I don't think that kid's getting off on that.
No. It's going to be an interesting case, dude, to see where it goes for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he gets off. I think he's going to face some, you know, some disciplinary actions on that one.
He won't be able to own a knife anymore.
Yep.
They're going to take away his right to own a blade.
No knife rights.
It's crazy to me that they do that. It's like, it's a fishy situation, but we can't really get you on murder or anything, so we're just going to hit you with a small felony, make sure you can't have any guns anymore, and we'll call it a day.
Well, man, look, I don't know how anybody is against that law, because there are people that, you know, believe that you shouldn't be able to protect yourself with deadly force no matter what.
Sure.
You know?
Absolutely.
You get a lot of these I mean, the liberals that just you know, want to take the guns away. And to me, I love that law. I love that you have that right. And I couldn't imagine living anywhere in the country where you were not able to protect yourself by any means, meaning, you know, owning a firearm.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, you know, you just use it as an excuse to take lives, but I'm saying you should at least have that option to protect yourself with deadly force.
Right.
Because when somebody's out there to cause you harm, they don't give a shit, you know, about your life. So therefore, hey, the feeling's mutual, you know. And it's amazing that some people find it's okay to just live without that protection. And look, chances are you'll probably never need it in your life. You know, most people aren't put in a situation where they have to choose to take somebody's life. But if you are, you're going to wish you had a firearm. You know?
Yeah, you'd rather have it, not need it, than need it, not have it, brother, for sure.
Or you know, like Steven Seagal and just take them out with your hands. But that's not most of us, you know.
Yeah. Well, self-defense tip, as far as legal, you know, legal-wise. Right. So I watch Active Self-Protection, right? John Correa, he basically gets called in as an expert witness on self-defense shootings that go to court. And his number one tip is to always carry some sort of pepper spray, bear spray on your person.
Something.
Because if you ever do get into a self-defense shooting situation, you having a pepper spray on you, especially if you had used it, it shows that you tried to, you know, use non-lethal force first, and it didn't work. And then the lethal force had to come out, compared to not having anything else. And the prosecutors try to paint you as like, well, he only had a gun, so he was basically looking for, if any kind of argument
pops up, he was looking for an excuse, right? Yeah.
See, and I get where you're saying from the grimy lawyer that's coming after you from that standpoint, but to me, that's too many steps to getting where I'm trying to be, which is to protect my life.
Well, you know I mean? He says because
I don't understand these extra steps of macing a motherfucker first or whatever.
But the use of force on mace, the legal threshold for using mace is far lower than using a firearm.
Yeah, it could just be.
So a mace is like, get the fuck out of my face shit. You know?
Yeah, like that dude, that black kid that stabbed that white kid in Texas, he probably could have maced him. and been fine.
Easily.
He's like, he put his hands on me, I maced the motherfucker so he get away from me.
And worst case, if you do
I'll be right back.
mace somebody that probably shouldn't have been maced, you catch a simple assault, you go to jail, you take your little probation, and you go home, right? If you use a gun on somebody that you probably shouldn't have, now you're going to prison.
Well, that's true, yeah, and not to mention, I mean, prison, and you took a life that might have, it wasn't necessary, Now somebody lost their life because you were quick on the trigger. I get all that. That's why I do think it takes a lot of discipline. If you're gonna be a gun carrier day in and day out, I do. You got to get out of every situation that you can get out of. Yep. That is the number one rule. It's always, if you can leave the altercation, leave it. None of it's worth it. You know what I mean? It's only meant for if there's no other alternative. You're back into a corner and your life is in danger. But not everybody's like that. Just like that asshole that was shooting at that DoorDash driver. I mean, he come out of his house, the dude's in his car backing out of the driveway, and he's firing shots at him. So I understand not everybody can control, that urge or whatever, and some people are just stupid.
And when it happens, you deserve to sit in prison.
You do, yeah, but you don't punish every gun owner for that,
Nope.
And that's what they want to do. They want to pass these blanket laws that, basically it covers everybody under one big umbrella, like we're all idiots,
Right.
And it's just not. And look, I get it. Some bad things are going to happen, but it's called life. You don't start stripping rights away from everybody because there's idiots running around. People get in car accidents all the time. They're DUIs, but you don't take everybody's keys away.
Yeah.
The way I see it. But that's just not how the Democrat and the liberals think. It's like, well, we'll
apparently
take all guns away.
Republicans these days.
Why? What they doing?
So they are fucking off on the Safe Hearing Act.
Okay.
Which everybody call, email, send letters, fucking a messenger pigeon, whatever, to your senators and tell them that you support the unrevised version of the Safe Hearing Act. So basically, there's a fight right now that a suppressor is or is not a firearm, right? Okay. Is the suppressor a firearm or is it a firearm accessory? Okay.
Accessory.
So it's listed on the NFA as, an NFA item. So you have to have a tax stamp to own one, which basically the ATF is classifying it as a firearm. So the Safe Hearing Act is saying that, hey, gun owners should have the right to protect their hearing with suppressors when they're at the range or when they're hunting or, doing any kind of legal gun shooting. Even if you're in a self-defense situation in your house and you don't want to blow your family's eardrums out, you should have that right. So the Safe Hearing Act is going through Congress right now. They're working on it. But the Republicans decided that they wanted... They liked the Safe Hearing Act, but they wanted a revised statute of it. So they revised it from basically taking suppressors off of the NFA to bringing the NFA, the tax stamp for suppressors down to $0. So you don't have to pay any money
but you have
for a tax stamp for a suppressor, but you have to go through all the loops and the bullshit to get a suppressor. You still have to send in fingerprints. You still have to fucking, let
crazy,
the ATF come take your fucking hair samples and like whatever the fuck else they do.
So that's what they're trying to pass, or that is?
That's what they're trying to pass. So because the original one came in and as basically take suppressors off of the NFA. That got shot down by both sides. So it was revised, and the Republicans were basically like, we could get on board if it's revised to this. And that's basically their revision, is that it just takes the tax stamp down to $0. So you save $200 when you get a suppressor, but you still have to jump through all the bullshit on a firearm accessory.
I'm in agreement with you, dude. It's like a suppressor. I've seen them. I've shot them. My son has a couple of them on his guns. Dude, they're great, man. Mostly like you're in a box stand, you're hunting. Dude. And look, for people, and there's people out there that deer hunt or duck hunt, and they're wearing hearing protection. Me, I'm in the woods. I'm trying to hear what's coming. Yeah. And I don't have one, but I mean, dude, it'll blow your eardrums out. Your ears are ringing after you shoot a deer. But to say that it's, a firearm, no. I mean, to me, it's nothing more. A suppressor is nothing more than going to buy like a high-powered scope.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
A fucking muzzle brake, or
muzzle brake, or whatever it might be. Exactly. I'm in a full agreement. Yeah,
I mean, what is their logic behind not even allowing you to? Because let's face it, it's not like you put a suppressor on a gun and it's like you don't hear it at all.
But that's what the general public thinks.
Yeah, it's not like
James
movies.
Bond, and
they think it's a silencer.
They think you can go around and just shoot people, and it's just going. Pew, pew. That's not. So what is their reasoning? Like what excuse do they use to even have these things?
Control.
That's it. Just if their excuses, they think it's a bunch of people that have never seen, held, felt, or heard a suppressor in their life making laws on guns, and they think that they're gonna quiet it down to where if you're in the middle of a populated neighborhood and you pull the trigger, nobody's gonna hear it outside of 10 feet from you, and that's not how it works, but they don't understand that. So, and they know the general public doesn't understand that either. So they can say, well, these are dangerous because somebody can shoot up a mall and you'd never know where they were. You know?
I was going to say what you said it too. What most people think is what they see in a movie, because most citizens have never even been around a suppressor to know that it's not, like you said, it's not a silencer. I mean, it's a muffler. It muffles the sound the best it can, but there's no mistake. It's not like you're going to shoot a gun in your house and everybody's going to say, I think I heard something, but I'm not sure. It's just not how that works.
Suppressor. I mean, it just suppresses the sound. But I think a lot of people, and that fringe crowd that's out there, just when you mention the word AR-15.
What's that stand for? Assault rifle. That's what they think.
Rifle 15.
Don't know shit about
AK-47. Oh my God. Yeah.
And Justin hit it on the head. These people are making laws.
Yeah.
And they don't even know what the fuck these things are.
They have no clue.
I mean, you've seen that. Who was that idiot that was running for vice president that we luckily didn't get in? Tim
Waltz.
Tim Waltz.
Waltz, yeah. You seen that idiot fumbling around that day with that gun. You could just
he's lucky he didn't shoot somebody.
Yeah, right. He should have shot himself in the foot. That would have been hilarious.
Well, you
I might have voted for him.
Wasn't it Dick Cheney that was like dove hunting or something? He wound up shooting somebody.
Quote unquote, accidentally shot somebody in the face.
And he's an avid hunter. It's like, how the hell do you do that? Dude?
Well, the person going with him wasn't. Apparently, you got to know to stay out the line of fire, man.
Yeah.
I can imagine, but they were they dove hunting?
Either that or like pheasant or something.
Yeah, it was one of them little birds, because that seems like it could be a little sketchy, because the birds come jumping up and you're just swinging that gun, shooting, and I'm like, I don't want to be anywhere near that shit.
No.
And dude, all of that hunting right there, dude, it's like, look, I like dove hunting and I like duck hunting. It's a challenge if you're going to hunt the birds, but there's a lot of places out there, dude, where probably all these higher end people with money, they go there and it's like, how many you want? Give me 10 pheasants, or give me 20 doves, and they go throw them out in the field.
What?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can go right there in Mississippi, dude, and make a dove hunt or a quail hunt, and it's like, how many birds you want? Yeah, give me 12 birds, and they go throw them out for you, and then they got their dogs that run around and they'll jump up in the air and you shoot them. To me, it's like hunting lame. High fence, deer hunting and high fence. It's so lame. You're not a hunter.
That's hard to shoot skeet.
Exactly.
And then go to Walmart and buy food.
Yeah. You're just harvesting animals at that point. That's just
absolutely.
Dumb. I mean, I never understood it either. Like them big paid hunts where it's like, look, we guarantee you this big massive buck.
And I get the paid hunt because I've done enough of them through Illinois and Missouri, and I've done a bunch of paid hunts, and I get it. But it's open range, so you're actually hunting.
Fence.
Yeah, it ain't like it's a 10-foot fence, and it's like, just shoot the first one that's laying on the ground, because that's what they do. No, they're everywhere. What I mean.
It was more of like, when I was saying paid hunts, that's kind of what I meant, like where you're almost in a fucking deer farm.
Yeah, it's like going to the zoo or the global wildlife,
I don't understand the thrill in that for anybody who's a hunter.
It's not for me, man.
I mean, because
some people get off on it, dude.
It's just it's a pissing kind. Look, I shot this fucking 12 point. It's like, they walked it out on a fucking leash. I mean,
it's so true, dude.
Y'all remember them dudes that went into global wildlife and started picking off them antelopes?
I remember something about that. Didn't they got in some shit, huh?
They did
shooting antelopes in a fucking wildlife sanctuary. That had to be some rednecks out there, huh?
I'm sure.
It had to be.
One too many bush lattes, dude, Yeah.
The last time I went duck hunting, we walked off of Bayou Paquet into the fucking marsh as far as we could with chest waders and set up fucking some sort of makeshift blind and sat down, like walking through the marsh at 5:30 in the morning. No clue where we were or where we were going, but we figured
and that's
it out.
hunting. That's
Shot
hunting,
a couple ducks.
You know?
That's the only kind of hunting I like, man. I got to be moving around. You know, I can't do this sitting in a fucking blind. And not that there's anything against it, but I can't do it. I just get antsy, and I just can't sit there for hours waiting on some fucking deer to hopefully walk out. I didn't mind, you know, walking through the swamp or whatever, or in the woods, walking around trying to jump something up. At least I'm moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that sitting still shit. I done tried it.
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna take you with me this year, dude. You're gonna come, dude.
No, we're going high fencing because I want a guaranteed 12 point.
240 class. Yeah, I got you, dude. Yeah, dude. No, you're gonna come up there. You can take a nap in the stand, dude. You can chill out, listen to birds, and
that's the kind of
deer hunts.
Brett Favre and them do up there in Mississippi. Yeah. I got a buddy that he had property right next to the lease and all that them guys would hunt at, but it was all basically, like you said, high fence, guaranteed shit. You know, the rules on it was ridiculous, where it had to be this massive fucking buck or you couldn't shoot it. But it was expensive. I mean, it was fucking $20-something thousand to go there. And I think old Favre was part of it. And I'm thinking that just can't. It just takes the thrill out of it when you know you can go somewhere every time. And take home any type of to me it's like
that's not
it'd be
hunting,
like
dude.
That's what keeps it interesting about going fishing around here is you can have plenty of bad days. But when you have that good one, it's like, holy shit, you know, it's just a high. Well, if you could do that every time, the high.
That's why it's called fishing, bro, and it ain't catching.
Right, it ain't catching. But fishing. Like I said, it keeps that you wanting to chase that high.
Absolutely. You just never know. What you think up with Favre, man? Because I heard he's selling his $14 million spread,
man,
dude.
I know he was getting I don't know.
Wasn't he getting sued or something, man?
He was getting sued or some shit, and then they got a documentary.
Wasn't he stealing from
him.
the fucking schools or something like that out there?
I think he was kind of, you know, money being kind of misused. I don't know the exact, you know, allegedly, you know.
Is that what he's getting sued for? Because that was a while back, huh?
I guess. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think that was a while back. But, and look, maybe he settled out of court. It's not mentioned. And maybe he's like, I got to get rid of this $14 million albatross on my shoulders.
Well,
dude,
I know they had they got a Netflix documentary coming out. I just seen them advertising that, and it's basically the fall of Brett Favre. So apparently, you know, it's he's got some shit going on. But I mean, he's just can't take the country boy out of him.
No, absolutely, dude. Yeah.
Oh man, let's see. He's got a Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre will be permitted to continue to pursue a defamation lawsuit against Mississippi auditor Shad White.
Oh wow!
So apparently, it's
so he's
court
suing?
filings. Yeah, White argued that the continued litigations of this case not only threatens important First Amendment Act. So I'm trying to see what the guy did. Claims that White falsely accused the former Packers, and they got all the teams listed: Packers, Jet, and Vikings quarterback of stealing taxpayer money in both media appearances and in a book.
Right.
Well, but they don't say how he was stealing taxpayers' money. I mean, what would Brett Favre be doing unless it was that shit with that school?
Yeah, he did.
I mean,
didn't he have something like that? Yeah.
He did. Was that a public school that was going on?
I don't know.
Oh, here it was.
Might have been.
Favre says Favre has strongly denied wrongdoing in connection with the Mississippi welfare scandal. He has never been criminally charged, so it had to have something to do with that.
He's a liar.
Sure.
Because I think he was. God, it was something to do with some kind of field or something they were going to build or did build with the money. I don't fucking know.
Gotcha.
All I know is he sent dick pics to that hot chick that used to cover the football on the sideline.
Yeah.
He got in trouble for that shit.
Yes, he did.
Shit happens. Well, she was of age, dude.
Yeah, God forbid a man have hobbies, right?
I know, it's like you listen to this bullshit on the internet now, you know, and you can either take it or like it with Bill Belichick and his little 24-year-old girlfriend. It's like, look,
well, wasn't he getting handies at massage parlors?
No,
yeah, he was.
What? No, I thought that was the Miami Dolphins.
That was the owner of the Patriots.
Oh, that was the owner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're
right, dude. Yeah, dude, look.
Andy's at a massage parlor. I thought that's why you went to him. What's the problem?
Yeah, happy endings, dude. I mean, come on, dude.
But no, I'm with you. They're getting all in Belichick's, business with this now.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, he's a public figure, you know. Now I get it, but you know, he's doing these.
But does it matter, Shane, that dude's worth, let's just say $100 million? If he wants that, and she's of age, and she's consenting adult, does it matter that because I read somewhere like, oh, she's just a mooch and she's done gained $9 million worth of real estate? Really, who cares? Who gives a fuck? You know,
who cares?
I mean, if he's willing to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm gonna buy this for you," who cares?
Well,
you know?
I was noticed, you know, they were bitching about that interview that he did and how she kept stepping in.
Yeah,
you know, and what they failed to tell you was, you know, Belichick said in the beginning, he told them, "I don't want to talk about anything but you know, football."
I remember that.
Whatever I was there to talk about, that was it. And then, of course, they want to jump straight to the relationship he's having with this young girl. So she would get up and basically with an attitude like, "Hey, we're not doing that." You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then everybody painted her as just this controlling bitch.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, hey, even if she is, apparently he don't mind it. So
yeah, evidently he's cool with it. So let it roll. Who cares?
Who's the dude that did the interview with Cat Williams? The black ex-football player. Is it Shannon Sharp? Yeah, he's in some shit right now for dealing with them young chicks.
Oh, dude,
have you
he's in
seen
some
all the
shit,
shit on
dude.
that? I think
I'm not sure.
Like,
we were talking about that, Shane.
Like $15 million? And she
Yeah, we were talking about that a few weeks ago, Shane, you and I off air, and it was like, dude, yeah, that's where he's fucked. I mean, because
did you
he's
see the text
offered this girl. Oh, dude, it's crude.
Like, she was texting him, like, put your black babies in me and shit.
Wow. But she also said something about, you know, I asked you not to put it in my butt, and you did it anyway.
Right.
It's just weird, like, shit like that. But I think he did offer to give her like $15 million to shut up, and that, you know, like Brad was saying, that doesn't make you look very innocent in anything.
No.
Now, a lot of times wealthy people, their lawyers advise them, just, you don't want this out in the public, just go ahead and pay this person. It's easier than fighting this and, you know, putting a bad spin on your name, because it may not be true, but it's people are still going to look at you in a certain way. So if you got the money, just pay them. But then when she's like, oh no, motherfucker, that what you're offering me is nothing. We want $50 million. So that's where the shit hit the fan.
Shannon Sharp and some OnlyFans model. Was it?
Well, he said who put what in whose butt. She was texting him saying, you know, she was complaining about how he was treating her, and one of the complaints was, I asked you not to put it in my butt, and you did it anyway. And I'm thinking, damn, that is a text message I will never get.
No,
I can guarantee it.
It's so true.
That's something my wife would never text me.
Right. So funny. Man. But you know what, man? Like you talked about earlier, when you become those public figures and your eyes are out there, you're NFL, you're doing this, dude, you got a higher standard, bro. You really do, man.
You got to learn.
You really do, man.
Stay away from that. I mean, you're asking for trouble fucking with these young girls when you work that kind of money.
Just like Joe Gatto. He's in shit, too.
Joe Gatto, that's true. Man, it look, temptation's a motherfucker. I get it. You know, you're famous. Somebody like a Joe Gatto, you know, I doubt he was the talk of the town when he was in school. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden you're thrust in this position that now, I mean, people are throwing themselves at you, and it's like it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Temptation's a motherfucker when you're not used to that kind of shit. You know, so but when you get into a position like a Joe Gatto or Shannon Sharp, man, you got to know, man, this isn't going to lead anywhere good, especially when you're a married man like Joe was. Shannon Sharp's single. He's just out there tapping everything that wants to let him tap. That's whatever. He's a single man as long as it's consensual. I don't give a shit if he's knocking down 100 a week, you know? Yeah. But when you're Joe Gatto and you are married, bro, you know, just chill out, you know? Chill out, because they're coming after you, them young girls, man. And then they're immature. You're on a totally different level than they are. I mean, you're 50 or whatever he is, and you're dealing with a fucking 20-year-old. You know,
wasn't he the one that would speak into the microphone and tell her this? I did. What was that fucking
Impractical Jokers?
Impractical Jokers. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
He was the fourth one.
Yeah, he had to get off of it, man. It was a shame. Yeah. But anyway, it just goes to say, when you get a little wealth, calm the fuck down, stay home. And don't be putting it in people's butt when they tell you not to.
No, do not do that.
I thought I was going to be on the creep list for staying at home. So the woods behind my house caught on fire not too long ago. Just big ass forest fire back there, right? Well, when it started, like right before it started, so the power goes out, and I'm like, fuck. All right. So I just got home from work or something, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go take a shower. So I hop in the shower, whatever, and I start smelling smoke, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is my house burning down? I'm like, did the power come back on and the fucking house is catching on fire or something? So I hop out the shower, and I've got a big ass window in my bathroom. So I'm smelling and I'm looking, and so I go by the window and I pull the fucking curtain back a little bit, and I'm looking, and I see flames and firefighters, and the whole fucking curtain falls off the window. So I'm standing there in the window, butt ass naked, looking at these firefighters fighting a fire in the backyard. I'm like, oh fuck!
How quick did you move? Or did you just stand there?
I was like, oh shit! Like I didn't know what to do. Like pick the curtain up, fucking jump out the way, move back. I'm like, oh shit! So I was probably there for like 10 seconds. Fucking, cool. I'm like, waiting on these firefighters to look up. I'm like, what the fuck?
The curtain fell.
The whole fucking
That's
thing.
pretty funny, dude.
Boom! And I was like, oh no! And it's like, man. I mean, it's like a 6 foot tall window. Like it's almost floor to ceiling. It was bad. It was bad.
Speaking of, I was gonna say, speaking of creeps, did you hear that Diddy shit started, man?
Yeah.
That trial.
Yeah. Dude, I was reading a little bit about that, and with his girlfriend or whatever she was with him, but it looks like prison's taking an age on him. He's great, and unless he needs some hair for men or something, I don't know, dude. But
well, he was probably already, you know what I mean? It just, he had a damn stylist and people that would pamper his ass, so he's probably been dyeing his hair for a while. But yeah, I was listening to like some of the testimony, man. These girls, if what they're saying is true, this dude was a fucking freak, man.
Oh, he was a freak. I mean,
he would like forcing one of them to sit there and let some dude piss in her mouth. You know? And now, granted, I'm probably saying that he on here will wind up getting us kicked off, but it's just it's public record. So,
but it is, dude. It's out there.
And that's the type of shit, and he was into like watching these dudes like do what they were doing with girls, and I'm thinking, man, this. And I mean, they're swearing they're on, fucking putting their hand on the Bible and under oath saying this shit, man. So I don't know.
Him and R. Kelly was homies, huh?
Oh yeah, big time. Had to have been. Did you ever saw that video where Diddy was beating the shit out of that girl in that hallway at that hotel?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I kind of forgot about that. And
what's her name? Cassie or something?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I saw that pop up today on my timeline. I forgot he did that, and I'm like, this dude. There's something wrong with this man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they said he gave the I think it was a security guard or something at the hotel. He gave him like $100,000 in cash to not let that video
suppress the video and all that. Yeah,
it still got out because he probably took $100,000 and then sold it for the $100.
Yeah.
Did it? Give me that $100, dude. Yeah, we cool. Everything's cool, brother. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. TMZ offered me fucking $400,000 for it.
Yeah, Combs is also accused of assaulting women repeatedly over many years by striking, punching, dragging, throwing. We saw that. Kicking them. The violence extended to his employees and people who witnessed his alleged abuse, prosecutors say. In one instance, screens jumping all over the place. Combs is accused of dangling a victim over an apartment balcony. In addition to abuse, Combs allegedly maintained control over victims with money, drugs, and threats to their careers. Yeah, he was a fucking dick, man.
Well, what's up with that book that his ex-wife wrote, like, before she died or some shit? Like, the mother to his sons wrote a book, like, describing everything and, like, put it all in a book right before she died.
About that. No.
Yeah, it's like still published. You can go get it and read it. And apparently it's got like all the details about the celebrities that were at the Diddy parties and what was going down. And
wow.
Huh.
Because since the case started, the sons are like, it's not true, da-da-da. Somebody wrote it and published it in my mom's name and this and that. And
well, according to his attorney, these allegations against him came from former long-term girlfriends who were involved in consensual relationships. In other words, they probably enjoyed having their mouths pissed in. I mean, come on.
That's what Boosie said on X.
Is that what he said?
It is.
What did he say?
He said that as long as he said basically he shouldn't be charged with any kind of sexual crimes. At most, it should be like a domestic abuse situation being charged with because basically his girlfriend was there. She didn't leave.
I get
like
his
she
point.
was still with him after the fact. And he was like, she was a fucking freak too.
No, I get his point that if he wasn't physically forcing, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to throw that, that allegation of, rape at him. Just because they were doing some crazy shit or he was, quote unquote, making her by telling her to do it. I mean, I don't know if that sticks,
Right.
It's touchy, and I get it. Look, man, women getting in positions where they don't know what to do. They don't know how to get out of situations like that, but that it's a little harder to get somebody with that R word, in a situation like that, where if she's not saying he tied me down and made me do this, it's always he had me do this. Type from what I'm hearing at least, but this shit just getting started, so I'm sure there's a lot of shit that's going to come out. It's going to be all over the fucking place. You're not going to know who the hell's telling the truth.
Oh, dude, they saying 8 weeks, dude, for this trial.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. I'm waiting to see what Lil Wayne's ex-girlfriend starts saying about him. Did you see her video yesterday or today?
No.
He kicked her and her daughter out of his house. It was his longtime girlfriend. He kicked her and her daughter out the house on Mother's Day. So she got on social media and she was flashing out like, this motherfucker, da da da. I need me a good ass lawyer. Somebody tell me where the best lawyer's at and da da da. So I'm waiting to see what she comes out with because she's mad.
Yeah, I seen that kind of come across, but I didn't really click on it. I just thought it was some other dumb shit like people just dispute domestic arguing or whatever,
Yeah, no, she's suing him. We gonna see. Hey, was it Betty White or Martha Stewart that went to prison?
Martha, she's a G, man.
Martha Stewart.
Yeah, for the same shit these politicians do day in and day out.
Well, come to find out, it was tax evasion, right? And but for years,
insider trading.
Well, for like 3 or 4 years after she went to prison, like I thought she somehow got locked up for saying the N-word when that went down, because like it happened and then it came out and then she went to prison and I was like, did this bitch go to jail for saying the N-word?
No, but they did have that other woman that used to do the same shit she did with the cooking and the house.
Yeah, Paula Deen, dude.
Paula Deen got in trouble for saying that's probably where you got the two intertwined, because it was another white lady that was like, a homemaker type, shit. And
cooking and all that crap.
Yeah,
and that pretty much washed her up, dude. Yeah, I mean, she's still around, but I think it put a little hurt on her.
I forgot how she got caught saying it. Was it in a private? I can't remember.
Dude, I don't remember, man. But I know, like, her staff, there was a lot of, blacks, and I always thought she was a pretty compassionate person, and they ain't no telling, dude.
N-word slipped a couple times. We've all been there. Not me, but y'all.
No, not me. No, absolutely not, dude.
What Theo said, I have some flare-ups in traffic.
Yeah, I like what Theo said. Well, I don't ever say that word, and he's like, unless you do.
That's really funny.
Oh man, you see them parents? They got arrested for basically domestic violence and like child abandonment. They kept their 3 kids locked inside since 2021 out of fear of this COVID shit.
Wow.
Like in deplorable conditions. Like they would not let them leave the house, and it was because it was keeping them away from COVID since 2021, man. That's how insane that shit drove people. And look, they were probably pieces of shit anyway, because from what I understand, the house was in pretty bad condition to keep the kids in. But according to them, that's their story. That's why ever since the pandemic, nobody's seen their kids. And they were like, wait a second. Like the neighbors like, where the fuck are these kids?
It's true.
Finally, they went and checked them out, and they had been, they were on lockdown for the COVID stuff. I'm like, man, that shit just really fucked with some people's head back then, man.
It really did.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Some people it still does,
Still does. Well, like these parents, because had this welfare check not been performed, them kids would still be locked in that house.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's crazy, man. And not a single apology from anybody on that side. Yeah, even after all the proof is coming out that pretty much everything they said was either a lie or a huge mistake. Which is fine. Mistakes are mistakes, but admit it and say, look, we messed this up. But they don't. They're
not gonna.
The same.
Yeah.
Nope. They'd push the same nonsense if they could, man.
I kind of need you to look this up as I'm saying it, because I was working on looking it up and really didn't have the time. But so apparently there's some sort of fibrous clots being found by the morticians, the people that do the fucking autopsies in these dead bodies, and they said they're finding them in about 24% of dead people that had been vaccinated with the COVID vaccine.
Don't say that word. YouTube's like,
nope, never
0% in the non-jabbed peoples.
Yes.
Let me see. Because the problem is with looking something up like that is you're not going to get a real answer on that unless I can do it through X on the Grok AI, because Google ain't telling you that shit.
Right, and
Google's
it's
be
supposed to be something with the mRNA type of jabs. Well,
that's what's fucking with everybody. The claim has been widely discussed, particularly in conspiracy theory circles, but lacks robust scientific evidence. Below is an analyst of the conspiracy theories. Let's see. Claims. Some conspiracy theorists, including embalmers and social media figures, assert that COVID-19, I don't want to say the V word, cause unusual white fibrous clots. Let's see. Okay, that's the claim. Origins. The narrative gained traction from figures like embalmer Richard Hirschman and YouTuber John Campbell, who shared images of alleged clots. Well, they're on YouTube sharing this shit, so apparently we can talk about it. But Mike Adams, a known conspiracy theorist, conducted a widely criticized experiment using a single clot sample, claiming it lacked iron and was synthetic. These claims have been amplified by misinformation sources. Wyatt Purcell, I'm trying to see the sign. No link to vaccines. It says multiple studies and health authorities refute. Well, of course they do.
Yeah,
see,
absolutely.
Here's the problem. Yeah, absolutely. It's like you hear stories like this come out, and then what they do is they rely on these quote-unquote experts who told us all to go get these fucking shots that, no, it's not doing that. It's not clotting anybody.
Right.
No.
I mean, what do you think they're going to say? That's the problem. Why you will never get any kind of truth out of any of this shit that happened with that whole pandemic and all of that shit. You will never.
It's never going to happen.
Because this shit could be totally true, what these embalmers are saying, but nobody that has any kind of a voice in the medical industry is going to come out and say, yeah, they're right. You know?
I'll try to find the video when we get off of here and send it to you, and we can discuss it next week too. But there were some, scientists and medical professionals that are like, yes, we are seeing this, and then they started giving the percentages of the people they're finding them in, and they're kind of like, well, maybe this was the problem with the heart failures at the beginning of everything with these young people that would just suspiciously die of heart attacks or whatever.
Right, but here's the problem with that is people like the FDA and the rest of these, these government-run organizations and all, they're never going to get behind that. So it's not going to, it's never going to get, grow any legs and go anywhere.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Never going to get behind like pharmaceuticals being bad for you either. And
no, exactly, and that's why a lot of the country doesn't think like that. You know, a lot of the country thinks, well, the doctor's saying take it, I must need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're right, they're never going to get behind that either. So that's where we're going to get with all of this shit with these vaccines, because I'm leaning towards I believe what these embalmers are saying.
Right.
But you're never going to get that
I just don't know why they would
make that shit up.
Yeah, why would you put your job on the line, your job, your reputation? Know that if your story happens to be the one that goes super viral, you're going to be targeted by some 3-letter organization out there. Like they're coming for you.
Well, it's funny. Speaking of the 3 letters, now look at this last sentence on that whole shit I pulled up about that. It says, for accurate information, consult pathologists or sources like the CDC and the WHO, the WHO, and be wary of unverified ex-post and conspiracies, which that's fine. Yep. Be unwary, but they don't even tell you to question what the CDC says.
No.
They were one of the main groups out there lying to get everybody to take this shit in the beginning. And now, in some way, they've actually admitted that it was unnecessary to force that upon everybody if you dig far enough,
Yeah, right.
I was going to ask you if they ever came out and verified or kind of commented on any of these things that have come out post-COVID that are...
They haven't, but
if
you go on
this is true,
If you go on their website, you can find it.
Yeah.
But like I said, you have to dig for that information. It's not just out there like they're coming out giving a statement. But now you're starting to see some of the numbers, and they're even starting to admit that most of the deaths from COVID were people with comorbidities. You know what I mean? People that were old, people that had diseases, cancer, and other shit that was going on. It wasn't just a healthy citizen, and it wasn't children. You know, so they do.
Until
if
the
you
jab
dig,
came out.
right? Well, yeah. See, and that changed the game. And they actually started admitting that as far as the myocarditis, what do you call it? Myocarditis?
Myocarditis.
Yeah. So you're starting to see some of that, but it's not like they're getting on a world stage and saying it like they were when they were telling everybody to go stick this shit in you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're not doing it like that, which is a fucking shame. They should have to come out and disclose everything they got wrong.
Yep.
But they don't have to do it. I mean,
they're doing it quietly. So, 15, 20 years down the road, when somebody does pull all of it out, the government's like, oh, look, we're going to unseal all these documents. They can be like, well, we already said all that. Like, it's been there. It's been on our website the whole time. We told you.
The history book it'll look like they're the good guys.
50 years from now, dude. Yeah, we'll be dead and gone, most of us, dude. And
that shit still pisses me off when you get on that
absolutely,
subject. Just how much they changed the world and changed people's lives for the worst, and don't give a fuck to this day that they did it.
Yeah.
Well, I know I told y'all,
dude. I think after 12.
No, and I think I told you, Shane. I was talking, to a nurse I heard, and she's like, we're seeing like a 30% uptick with people in their 30s that are V'd and enlarged hearts.
Yeah.
And it's just
this rapidly forming cancers that are just on an uptick.
Absolutely. Breast cancer. Oh my God. Breast cancer is way up. People. Ovarian cancer. Yeah. All of that, dude. Absolutely.
I don't know. And look, some of it might not all be attributed to that. I know they're talking about they're seeing an uptick in like colon cancer in younger people now.
Yes.
And a lot of that's probably with the junk that they're forcing down our throats pretty much daily, what we consume. But either way, I mean, we're being lied to constantly. And
I wouldn't doubt for a second a lot of these mRNAs, dude. They might be putting that in our chicken, our meat. There's no telling where that's. Yeah, there's no telling. There
ain't no telling. It's when you look at like the ingredients list on just foods like say a McDonald's French fry, here compared to what they put in other countries. Like there's so much shit in ours that's not even allowed in other places. I don't know how that's still going on in this society.
I just don't understand how you fit that many things inside of a French fry.
I don't know, but they figure it out. A lot
like
of
you think you cut up a potato, fucking fry it, and that's what it is.
But it is.
And dude, what did they say? Like
apparently,
what they say? Like somebody that drinks bottled water all the time, dude. It's equivalent to like, is it 10 credit cards a year? Is the microplastics?
I forget what it. Yeah, I don't know the exact.
Yeah, it's something like that, but it's equivalent to like 10 credit cards.
But what's worse, tap water or bottled water?
Yeah, well, that's true,
dude, yeah, absolutely.
Even so, though, I mean, what? It doesn't matter if you're drinking water out. I mean, everything we do. I mean, you know how many people got a habit of microwaving shit in a plastic container?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna tell you,
it's horrible. I do it myself. I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, and they say the black plastics are the worst.
Worst, yeah.
Yeah, they say they're the worst for you with the petroleum or whatever they use to do that. But they say anything black plastics
and
are
it's done
horrible.
Daily in almost every household, man. It's crazy. I mean, like I said, I'm guilty
dude, how
of it.
good is microwaves? How good are microwaves for you?
Man, ain't none of this shit good.
I mean, dude, and you know what? Who suffers? And it's like people like you and me. We're of age, and it's like. We've been doing this our whole life, whole life, from Doritos to Coca-Cola to whatever.
We came up in that time that it was like, now comes the
pizza
junk
rolls
food and everything's just a quick meal and shit that lasts for fucking months on your shelf, and ain't none of that shit good, man.
No.
And here we are.
Brad was walking a very fine line talking about those colored plastics. All right, you were on a really fine line there.
We'd have kicked him off the show if he speaks like that on here.
Yeah,
absolutely, dude. That is.
Hey, did y'all know there were 2 different types of Dr. Peppers out there?
I've heard
like
something about that.
No, so like Dr.
like
Pepper
diet.
apparently is like its own company, and it's got like bottling contracts with Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So you'll see 2 different like Dr. Pepper bottles. Like one will be round and one will be sharp and triangular, and apparently they'll taste different, a little bit different.
Which one's better for you?
Probably neither.
Not the one we're serving in America. I promise you that.
Terrible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's owned by what's that Keurig or whatever. Is who owns Dr. Pepper?
Oh, really?
The doctor.
Yeah.
Dude, that is the best drink out there. If you
maybe.
got to drink soft drinks, dude, that's like creme de la creme, dude.
I like Pepsi. I think Pepsi's where it's
great for hangovers, dude. It just tastes great.
Where it's at.
14.8
Pepsi,
billion.
you like Pepsi?
Yeah.
There you.
Let's see. While Dr. Pepper is a distinct brand with its own history dating back to its creation in 1885 by a pharmacist in Waco, Texas, it has been under various corporate umbrellas over time. Blah, blah, blah. I just want to know about the two different kind.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't drink much of it anyway, so who cares?
Lame.
No. Anyway. Well, what the fuck, man? What else is going on?
Nah, not a whole lot.
Y'all got y'all's, what you call it? Your fucking, the thing that puts your star on your license.
The real ID or whatever?
Yeah, the real IDs.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get that, man. Star David. Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to pay some sort of dumbass fine when I go to renew my license. I'm not looking forward to it.
No, you don't. It's only if you want to fly and move around the country.
Every time I fucking renew my license, I have some dumbass fine that I have to pay from 2 years ago. Every time, dude, I walk in there and it costs me $400 to renew my fucking license.
Well, I know a lot of people, they were freaking out, and I was wondering, like, I didn't understand the purpose of this real ID. I mean, don't they know everything they have to know about you anyway?
You would think. Yeah.
Well, it started back in like 2001, right? Like it's been
they
since
just
like
never
9/11.
enacted it, dude. They always kept putting it off. Now it's like it's already right. I think you and I were talking, Shane. Wasn't it like last week or something was mandatory?
Yeah, I think May. I don't know what it was, 7th or 6th. Or
yeah,
something. But they're saying like that you know the it's to address security gaps exposed by 9/11 and all this shit. And I'm like, what security, what does that do, though? I'm so confused on what this real ID changes opposed to just a regular ID.
Well, it doesn't bother us, dude, because we fly private. I mean, I'm just saying, dude,
I know, but I feel bad for the common folk.
Yeah, for the common folk. I'm in agreement with you.
Because there's a lot of people that they're believe that it's really some kind of covert step like towards a mandatory national ID system, or basically enabling like mass government surveillance.
Oh, I agree.
But like, what is different about it? Like, it's the same physical thing. Like, does it have a chip in it? Is it a?
I don't know. It's confusing me because it's like we've always had to have an ID. So why is this one any different? And why are people so? Because they're like, I mean, it's like it's a Trojan horse or something for surveillance.
Right? Is it like joining the mob? You got to prick your finger and
but you don't. I don't know. You don't really get any kind of real information. It's just people are kind of suggesting that it could be, used to monitor like purchases in the future and your travel, of course, but even like, monitoring your voting,
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, but how though? How is that any different than what they can already do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think these motherfuckers don't know what you're doing?
Electronic card, I don't see what the difference is.
Yeah, I don't know. And there may be. I'm not getting it,
And me neither, because when you get a driver's license, you have to prove yourself with birth certificate or social or something. Just not pass a test and they give you a license and my name's John Smith. No, you got to prove who I am to put that on the license. So, yeah, I don't know if it's a money grab or if it's a little more tracking, maybe. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Are you an organ donor?
I am.
Did you hear that story? Dude was talking about his grandma, and he's like, basically she was like, I'm an organ donor. Like, when I die, I'm gonna save somebody. Da da da. And wound up like her body got donated to the U.S. military so they could test the effects of explosions on human bodies.
How you like that, dude? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
All right,
I just signed up for it. I guess if I could.
I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bud.
No, y'all talking about important stuff.
No.
I'm changing the world. I'm changing the world here with information, and y'all are talking about fucking organs and stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about the
Can I have the floor?
Blowing up grandma.
Can I please have the floor?
It's all yours.
No, thank you. No, I wanted to, we were talking about the differences between the real ID, and this is what I pull up. It says, the real ID, it meets the security and identification standards set by the Real ID Act. Well, that tells me nothing. Passed to enhance national security post 9/11. It includes specific anti-forgery features and requires stricter. Okay, then that I can see. Now, finally, they break it down. So, according to them, it's harder to just make a fake ID and
so requires
like stricter verification of identity and legal status.
Yeah.
See, that was another thing that some of them were complaining about, that they think it's going to hurt immigrants, you know?
Oh.
Like they're going to use this to track them down or whatever.
So it's going to be like harder to get when you go to the DMV. Now you have to
according to this,
like
it says requires stricter verification of identity and legal status.
Wow.
So
you have to bring like 2 utility bills, your fucking birth certificate, social security card.
Well, and the funny thing is, it probably varies state to state, because in this next sentence, the regular one, it follows state-specific processes. You know what I mean? So some states may not be as strict to get an ID. Like in Louisiana, they're not just giving you a fucking ID.
Right.
I mean, it's a pain in the ass when you go to the DMV. You know, you got to bring, like Brad said, birth certificates and social security cards and proof of fucking address and all this shit. So now there may be.
I remember when I went for mine, dude. I had to bring my a high school book or something with my picture in it, dude. They're like, oh, that's you. Yeah.
Wow.
You know how sometimes you go to a bank and it's like, I need to cash this check. Well, do you have a credit card with your name on it?
Yeah.
Like, really, dude? Here's my license, dude. No, that's not good enough. Oh, okay.
Well, that's the only way they're making sense of it to me, is that it's a harder ID to obtain. But according to what they're telling us, you just go up there and tell them you want a real ID, and they give you one. So I don't know.
I'm just going to keep my fake ID.
But I don't know. I don't
trust
another
excuse to not get on an airplane, so I'm good.
Well, the whole thing got me wondering, because anytime the government's out there basically forcing you to do something or begging you to do it, it's usually never in your best interest. So, and it's a shame, because this may be, but it's just how they have you thinking nowadays, you know?
Sure.
So that was what I was wondering, like, what is the difference? Like, why are they pushing this shit so hard? Because to me, it's like, you shouldn't have to say it more than once. You want to fly? Go get a real ID. You shouldn't have to keep putting it in our face every day. Go get the real ID. Go get the real ID. It's like, why? It's kind of like the vaccine, you know? If I needed it that bad, I'd be begging you for it.
Yeah.
You know, if people were dropping like flies during the pandemic all around me, like we've talked about before, Brad, we'd be begging for the shot.
Oh yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
You don't have to sell it to me.
Right.
But that seems like that's what they're doing with this real ID. And it's probably pissing me off more than it should, but I just don't trust the government. So.
Well, go get one. Let's see how it works, dude.
I'm not getting shit. I'm not even going to have an ID no more. I'm a sovereign citizen.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah.
I don't go by the laws of you common folk around here.
No.
Got my private jet now.
Yeah, who cares, dude? I got somebody that drives me around. He's got to worry about the ID, dude. So I'm not worried about all that.
Oh, God. Sorry, y'all. I'm stretching. What's up, everybody checking us out?
What up?
Hope y'all enjoying your night.
Like and share, please.
Yeah.
Did Tanya Harding win that figure skating championship? The one that she sent her hit squad out?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, when Nancy Kerrigan got her knee bashed in. I don't know. Did she win that year, Brad? Brad, come on, you got.
I don't think so, dude. No, I think didn't she get busted, dude? Yeah, she got busted
before she could even. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that might
How
have
you
been
get caught before you get to compete?
Because it wasn't very hard to figure out.
Yeah, right. You got number 1 and number 2, and number 2 knocks out number 1. I don't know, dude. Yeah, but I remember that. But I don't think she got to compete, dude.
Let me see something. What year she?
God, that had to be like, what was that, early 90s or something, dude?
She send a hit squad message through a beeper?
No, what?
It's like Morse code.
No, she did win.
What?
The year Nancy Kerrigan was attacked just days before the event.
Wow.
Yes, Tanya Harding did win.
Damn, go Tanya.
Holy crap, yeah.
Have you seen her lately? I mean, she looks like she is just a freaking queen of the trailer park, man.
Not since she was on True TV.
Well, yeah, she's aged rough. She's aged
ridden
rough,
hard and
man.
Put up wet, huh, dude? Wow.
Yeah, but you could tell she was trash. I mean, anytime you're hiring somebody to go smash in your opponent's knee, you know.
Is that what she was famous for?
Yeah, that's all she was famous for. I mean, she was an Olympic, ice skater, but nobody knew who the fuck she was till she decided to have some big freaking, goon right there on TV just smash a girl's leg while she was
It was
walking.
like on camera?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was kind of walking out. I don't know what you call it in ice skating, but I guess like the locker room area through the crowd or something. Like, because you kind of walked past the crowd, kind of like the hockey players do when they go into the back.
Yeah.
And they skate through a little door and the crowd's just kind of there up against the wall.
Yeah.
But I think this was actually like you had access to the skaters. And he just reached over there and hit her right in her freaking knee. And I was like, okay.
With a bat?
Nah, I was one of them like the police kind of batons, if I'm not mistaken, that kind of, that extend out. So, yeah, it was a foolproof plan, apparently. In that line.
It wasn't a very thought-out plan at all.
Like, here's what we're going to do, guys. And then, look, it wasn't just Tanya and this guy. There was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different people in on it, and they were all like, yeah, that's going to work. This is going to work, And, hey, look, she won, but, they did find out, so. I don't even know if she got in trouble. How much legal trouble did she get into for that?
I don't remember, dude.
Because she didn't actually do it. I think to this day she still claims that she didn't tell the guy to do it. If I'm not mistaken. I'm about to check that because I could be talking shit.
No, I think I heard that.
Yeah, I think she never really, like, I don't even, maybe it says 94 Harden was with her lawyers when she submitted to questioning. She was interviewed for over 10 hours. 8 hours into the interview, her lawyer read a statement. I continue to believe that Jeff is innocent in any wrongdoing. I wish him nothing but the best. Her full FBI transcript was released. Changed her story well into the long interview. After hours of denying any involvement and trying to cover up the plot, an FBI agent finally told her that he knew she had lied to him. Then he would tell her exactly how she knew, blah, blah, blah. I hope everyone understands I'm telling on someone I read. Just shut up. Did you admit to it or what? Let's see. I know they're like, she said she was sorry Kerrigan was attacked. Attack on Kerrigan. I don't know. It never says that she admitted to it. I don't know. But yeah, I know that was for a while. Like she denied this shit, and I guess the dude never did really rat her out. I don't know.
Dang.
But anyway,
fell apart so fast. But speaking of legal troubles, did y'all see that dude beating his meat in the sheds out front of Lowe's?
I did read about that, and contrary to popular belief, it was not me. It was so no, I did. I saw that come up on the local news, and the guy was caught butt naked in a shed with Vaseline and a cell phone.
Yeah, in the display sheds in front of Lowe's.
Well, hey man, at least he was trying to be in private. Leave that man alone.
Yeah. Fucking people. Jesus.
Anyway.
Could you imagine like what the cop was thinking when he opens the shed doors? Like, what the fuck?
I'd have been like, oh shit, sorry, dude. Sorry. I'll just
wrong room.
Yeah, let me know when you're done and we're gonna have to talk.
Yeah, and they're like having to touch him to arrest him,
No, look, honestly, if I'm a cop, I'm leaving that motherfucker right there.
I saw nobody.
Yep. Now, granted, I guess you got to protect the public. There could be some child walking by seeing this freaking freak in the shed. Butt naked.
The door was closed.
Well, if he closed the door, then that's his private little room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I see nothing wrong.
And maybe he was squatting.
Victimless crime.
That's his shed.
That's right. Yeah. It's my shed.
Squatters' rights.
Victimless crime.
Wow.
But anyway. All right. Well, on that note, let's wrap it up. I'm going to do absolutely nothing. I'm going to Netflix and literally chill.
Hell yeah.
So, y'all be good. B.S.ing with the guys. We thank everybody watching. We will be back next week, Tuesday, same time, same place. Y'all be good.
Peace. Peace.